Hi BookTube, it's Stephanie. Today I'm going to share with you all the books that I got slash that actually arrived in February, and that would be in total 7 books. The first book I got, well, I actually think it was the last book of these, but it's an ebook that I got on Kindle. It cost like $3. Sole reason why I bought it, at least at this point in time, and that was The Sword of Keegan by ML Wong. I think it was originally self-published, and it has actually gotten quite a good reputation lately. Like the last couple of years I've heard a lot of people talk about it, and it follows a boy who trains to be this fighter to learn the martial art style of his family, and he's basically taught that he will fight for this kingdom. But then one day a stranger comes and proves to him that he might not have the time to become the warrior and the fighter that he's expecting to be. And then there's something with his mother. She used to fight she's from a foreign country, and she used to be a fighter, and now she's not, and there's some invasion happening. I don't really know, and it seems pretty interesting when I'm reading about it, but it's pretty, it basically, the synopsis definitely focus more on this intro, that there's an invasion coming, we have a son who all of a sudden needs to become a fighter like right now, and his mother who used to be a fighter and who has kind of kept him sheltered. Not particularly sure if she has done it on her own, or if she has been told that he can't find things out. We don't know, or at least I don't know. But yeah, so we'll see what I will think about that one and when I will actually get to it. And I remember that I forgot my Illuminate book, so yeah, so there's that. Let's start with the manga that I got, and that is That Time I Got Reincarnated as Slime, volume 13. For some strange reason I have not finished the last chapter from the other one, and I think it is because in my TBR I accidentally saw a page in this and I'm slightly terrified. But it's getting intense, like at least the way that ended. So this arc, yeah, we'll see, and I can't wait. Then, don't judge me, please. At least not too much, please. I got another light novel. At least it's not someone who travels from our world to RPG world. At least at that. And that is, suppose a kid from the last dungeon, Boonies, moved to a starter town. This, we are following, what was his name? Lloyd. We are following Lloyd, who is renowned in his entire village as being the weakest one. The one that kids way younger than him can show up when they fight against monsters and things like that, but he really wants to become a hero, so he moves. And the thing is, apparently this city or the town where he lives, they are living right next to a dungeon, so every single one of them are basically overpowered. Because outside of his town, he's pretty darn powerful. Like, I just like that. For some reason that just made my heart feel warm. So, yeah. So it's basically someone with low self-esteem, because he is the worst, but not in the wider world. There's something about that premise that just makes me feel warm inside, with someone who will hopefully get more self-esteem from being basically pushed down his entire life. Next I had a paranormal book, and this takes place in 1898 San Francisco, and we have a girl whose father, Chinatown's Daoshi exorcist, he gets maimed, and his daughter is then having to try to protect the kingdom. Oh, kingdom. Wow, community. Kind of the same thing. And she's supposed to protect them, and it apparently has a lot of Chinese monsters and things from Chinese rituals. I loved this sentence. With a peachwood sword and a sarcastic talking eyeball to help her, she must confront evil spirits, gangsters, and soul stealers before the sorcerer summons an ancient evil that could burn Chinatown to the ground. Yeah. Urban fantasy, San Francisco in the late 1800s. I think that's correct English. Yeah, this one sounds so good. And then my brain went, should you just refilm that part? And the answer is no. The book is named The Girl with the Ghost Eyes by M.H. Borison. Next I have another fantasy, and I would say it's probably a YA fantasy, I think, and that's Given by Nandi Taylor. This follows, what was her name? Yenny, who is a warrior princess who is tasked with finding a cure to save her father, and if she doesn't, she will be exiled, and yeah, her father would die, basically. And in this world, we have people who can turn into dragons. And this particular one, and I'm not Weish, let's say Weish. It sounds decent enough. Weish claims Yenny as his Given, which is his destined partner. It basically sounds like a pretty good tropey YA, but I do like the idea of a person who's turned into a dragon, who then probably, if I'm just going with what I think, in his society they don't really pick girls from, or like, not girls, no, partners from other species. And obviously, while he can claim her, well, she doesn't have to claim him. So I'm hoping that there's some good banter in between them. And the next one, before we get to the Illumicrate for January, is The Puppet Master's Apprentice by Lisa Dessel. This I have been eyeing since I read about it in the autumn, and it's because of the fact that the whole premise reminds me of something. But what this is that we are following a puppet master and his daughter, who's also his apprentice, and they get an order from the leader of the country where they live for soldiers, puppet soldiers. And as time goes on, the orders get larger and larger, and the time frame gets smaller and smaller, and the puppet master gets really sick. So his daughter needs to deal with these orders and needs to fulfill them. And then she gets a specific order. One puppet, the leader's son, wants her to make a puppet that's alive, and to do that there's something around the full moon. First of all, can we just talk about that beautiful cover? Yeah. Oh, and it's like, is she creating a monster, or is she creating a master? Is she creating a masterpiece, or is she creating a monster? And the main reason why this intrigued me is that there is a click and point game that's called Puppet Show. It's creepy, and the more you get into it, the more you go, oh, because you're never specifically told this. And it's creepy, and that's the kind of horror-y things that I can deal with, when it's like a little bit, just a little bit. And it's like, you might figure it out or you might not. And this premise and the whole puppet master apprentice, and I was like, it reminded me so much about that game. And they have several installments, and every installment gets more and more creeped out with. And this whole premise of this book just reminded me of that game. So honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Lisa was inspired by that game. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. So the next book is the Illumicrate book for January. So if you haven't gotten yours yet, please don't watch this bit. And that is Winter's Orbit by Everina Maxwell. And this is a sci-fi novel in which we are following a couple, I think, but we are starting out with a man whose husband has just passed away, been murdered, and he's then rushed to get married to the heir of another kingdom so that they can try to avoid war. So we have a person who's grieving, who needs to help his new husband to try to solve a murder and then try to stop a war. I don't really want to know more. There's definitely more in the synopsis. I don't want to know more. This was definitely one that I was really excited to get. And it looks pretty. I really like this cover. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this one when I can actually get to it. We'll see. I'm skeptic. So those were the 7 things that I got in February, that actually arrived in February. Did you get anything in February? In that case, please tell me down below, and I will see you next time. Bye.